What's up? Joe here, Profit First Reseller, and special guest.
Heather.
Hello. This is fun. We haven't done this in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Feels like, well, we did therapy. We graduated from therapy. Our therapist was like, I think you guys need to try it on your own for a while. Because we were just running out of things to talk about, I think.
Yeah, that's the problem when you go to therapy without actual, problems, right? Like, you're just like, we just want to be better. We know we're not perfect. Surely we can improve communication or whatever. So.
But our whole history of therapy has been internet therapy. Mm-hmm. So I just associate in it being in a Zoom call or like in front of a camera with you.
Putting our things on.
I guess we're not necessarily in a Zoom this time.
No, it's not live.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's raining outside. It's a thunderstorm. Settle in. This is going to be a long podcast. We're just chatting.
No, this could be a short podcast.
Or short.
I always say, we're just going to do 5, 10, 15 minutes. We'll just do a shorty and then it ends up being an hour.
It's like working out. You're like, oh, I'm just going to run one more hill.
Or every time I do any short ever, this is we're just getting right into the hacks, right? You just trick yourself into doing a load of dishes. Last night I wasn't going to do the dishes because I didn't feel like it. I was just going to empty it, right? I'm just going to empty the dishwasher. I'm not going to actually do the dishes. And then the dishwasher was emptied and I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to put the cups in there. I'm not going to actually do the dishes. I'm not going to do any dishes. I'm just going to put the cups in there because those are easy. And then you put the cups in there and then there's not actually that much left. There's an extra 15 things. You're like, oh, I guess I'll just throw those in there too. And then you accidentally do the dishes.
You just did an extra load, a bonus load of dishes last night.
I think that it is because of, for me, my brain has a harder time with some of that executive functioning. So I kind of do have to I'm just old enough now that I've learned how to trick myself into getting things done. Or not. Sometimes I also forget to get things done. But
you get a lot done.
Just in a non-linear way.
It's fine. Linear according to who, right?
Our productivity is just very different, output. Especially now that Joe's feeling better and he's not sick. Seeing you switch off, just finally feeling better after the surgery, after everything. I was just like, whoa, this guy, I forgot the Energizer Bunny that lives in this house. And he's just working, getting things done. Move.
It's nice.
It's nice.
Nice to be normal. Normal bunny.
Just a normal bunny. Just a worker guy. Yeah. But yeah, so I haven't been on in a little while. We thought we'd talk about some money stuff, maybe some parenting stuff, what's going on stuff.
Yeah. Parenting, the intersection of parenting and reselling is one topic you wanted to go over today a little bit, huh?
Yeah, it seems a little unrelated, but there's a lot of parallels there. And the way we parent informs how we resell and vice versa, I think in some ways too. And in some, they're completely opposite. But yeah, what's going on right now, we've got our backyard is a bit of a construction site because we're building a big shed for Joe to work out in. Right now, he's in our big bedroom. This is his work room where most of the magic happens. And it's 160 square feet. And we're building a 480 square foot shed. So we're hoping that he can both use that for his workroom as well as for most of the inventory. We can keep our garage as our unlisted inventory, incoming for pallets and truckloads and stuff. And then we will move everything else out into the sheds, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. It's still going to take another few months. They're still pulling permits, so we can't get most of it done. But we're just doing all the site prep right now. So it just looks half done.
And we're not doing anything. Earlier in my life, I probably would have done a lot more. And even this time, we toyed with a lot of well, should we prep the site? Mm-hmm. What if we dig and we do the initial digging?
What if we build a retaining wall?
I'm so glad we didn't do any of that. And I've just been spending those days while the guys that we hired are out working in the backyard, just working on the eBay business and making money in the ways that we already know works. And it'll pay for it. Well, I think that'll more than make up for the amount of energy and effort. I spent an hour or two building this piece of exercise equipment today, and that took so much mental energy because I'd never done it before, and the instructions were bad and blurry, and the YouTube video that they linked to was from a different version, and the colors were all off, and the sizes were different, and so it just took a lot of mental effort, and it's so nice when you have a business that has systems. And then the more that you get experience, I think you can kind of just chunk things into a system oh yeah, I've done something like this before. And so it just becomes a lot more muscle memory. And taking on a new project is so good and enriching, but it also is expensive. And when you're also having to put some effort into business as an eBay seller, you got to conserve that mental effort, I think.
And you're pretty good at just being practical about it, right? So you're like, of course I could build a retaining wall. Of course I can grade the ground. Those are jobs that are doable, but it would take me, 2 to 3 times longer than the person who can do it professionally.
Yeah.
And say you're paying him $100 an hour and it takes you triple the amount of time. Like it's easy, and it makes sense sometimes to just outsource that and to spend your time doing what you already know you can make money at doing. And with that, because you do have a different lifestyle than some, where you can just like literally stay in here and work. It's not like I don't know. You just are really good at filling your time with productive energy, I guess. So we hired out pretty much everything.
Yeah, this suits my lifestyle great, I've learned.
Yeah.
Like I like just having little things I can work on, and my business is just full of little things that I can work on.
Right.
And they make me money, like, and all of them do. Like I've even the broken stuff. I'm like, oh, I'll just sell it broken. So I'm so lucky. Yeah. Now
you randomly start selling tape.
Now we have a tape brand.
This whole thing started like months and months and months ago, because it takes a long time to get this, like, you spoke with a factory who makes tape, and then you had to get samples sent and back and forth, and you wanted it of a certain quality, and like, so it was a lot of back and forth of making sure it was going to be good enough and that they could like, so you were like, okay, Heather, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend thousands of dollars on a pallet of tape. And I was like, that sounds like a super weird plan. And you were like, okay, worst case scenario, nobody ever buys it. I have a lot of tape. I use a lot of tape. Maybe I'll just have a lot of tape. I think I did the math out. It would be like 6 years of tape or something.
Okay, in my head, I was like, it'll probably be about 5 years. I'll go through it eventually.
Like 6 years of tape. You would have had just infinite tape. Luckily, people have bought it, which is amazing. And I just keep laughing because it's just like such a random plan that you're just like, I think I just want quiet tape, especially when you're doing YouTube and packing. It is really obnoxious. And it's like one of those things that you don't care about or need until you try it, and you're like, oh, this actually is so much better. Like I have this coffee cup, it's called an Ember mug, and it holds your beverage at exactly the temperature you want it. So like for me, it holds my coffee at 126 degrees. And that seems so stupid, so over the top, so unnecessary until you have it. And then you're like, oh, now when you drink out of a regular mug, you're like, oh, it just gets colder. And then I have to just drink it at 94 degrees. And that's terrible. It's just a thing that you don't think about until you try it, and then you like it. It's really hard to go back.
Yeah, especially the stuff that you interact with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Shoes, mattress, your tools, the tools you use every day. Like,
I was saying mattress because you also spent like $1,100 on a mattress topper that cools the whole bed.
Yeah.
And it took it's not that hard to convince me of things when you're like, here is the deal. All right. So like, because I'm a little more frugal by nature. So sometimes Joe has to bring these things to me, and it's like, I think this will be a good plan.
Yeah.
So you're like,
it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money for a bed, but just the topper. So it cools it down to your temperature. And so,
like Heather's mug, I just cool my body to a specific temperature every night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Temperature control. But you're like, you have not woken up like sweating since then. No. And it also goes heat, so you could do the other way. But like, and you were like, listen, if I get really crappy sleep because I'm so hot and I'm sweating and I can't get cool even when the room's cold, I will have bad productivity the next day. And if I have it's not that hard to make up $1,100 worth of lost productivity when you work for yourself at home. So sold.
Especially as a parent, when like sleep is already going to be compromised to some degree. Like you gotta just get it where you can.
And we got this back several years ago when we were in the thick of it with like little kids. Now our youngest is 4.5, so they're almost staying through in their bed.
Last night was good, no interruptions, right?
I can't remember. It all blurs together. I think one of the nights in the past couple nights he came in once.
Yeah.
The boys have decided they like to sleep in the same bed together because they both want to snuggle somebody.
Yes.
And we've just said, hey, what if you guys snuggle together? And
there's no room in our bed, sorry.
Yeah, that's what they want. They want to like me to come in and snuggle them, but we're past that stage. They're 9 and 4.5, so they're loving each other.
4.5, wow.
Almost. He's almost 4.5. He'll be 4.5 in August. Right. So that's happening there.
Yeah.
Out in the back. The tape is happening.
Yeah, it's been really great. All great feedback. Everyone's been loving the tape, and I'm just so grateful. Like I've gotten so many messages, like a dozen emails, people saying it's so great, and comments on the YouTube channel. And so, yeah, I'm lucky, but we got a really great product, and so I'm not great at marketing, but if we can get the word out.
So just keep sending out free samples to
great.
people, or just pay
Yeah,
shipping.
and
samples.
starter kits. I want to get all YouTubers' hands. I'm sending out a lot of starter kits, and so
Yeah, because I was talking about the tape is fun to just have a roll on hand, even if it's not your everyday tape, for when you're doing like early morning shipping or just shipping on camera. Like maybe use a different tape if it is not the cheapest tape that exists, right? So like it is a premium product. It's expensive for us to buy too, but like having a roll for when you just are trying to be extra quiet is also kind of nice. Even if it doesn't make sense for you to have it for your everyday tape forever. But yeah, neither one of us are good at marketing. That was our one thing with our restaurant that we had. There was like zero marketing done, which was fine. We survived for 9 years without marketing. But
yeah, it almost becomes like a bragging point of like, oh, it's all from word of mouth and.
But like, what would we have been
like,
had we actually marketed?
Yeah, it's like bragging about like running a marathon with no shoes, and it's like, well, what if you just put some shoes on and tried it again? Like, what would you be capable of?
Yeah, right. And we were young when we started it, and it was so just like with the savings in our bank accounts starting that thing, and with a small Kickstarter starting that thing, and so it's much leaner operation with the reselling world. We started by just like literally we were moving from Portland to here, and like selling everything that we had in our house that we didn't need to bring with us. Going to the Goodwill outlet store, buying everything there. There was like 5 Goodwill outlet stores in the Portland area within like a 20-minute drive. Remember?
I don't know. I thought it was at least 3. Maybe
there were
3.
so many because there was.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe the only 3. I can think of 3. Anyway, it was fun, and now here we are. Still no employees, still no warehouse.
No, yeah.
The idea of the shed is kind of taking the place of a warehouse, but it's still in our yard. So you're still very present with the family and with the kids. But I do think it'll help mentally to have that space that you go to work, and then you can leave that space as well. It's so hard to have boundaries when you're a business owner. I really struggled with that when we had the restaurant.
Yeah.
Is keeping boundaries, especially with employees. We had like 25 employees, and that is just, there's a lot of touches, a lot of stuff that can go wrong quickly. And I was like constantly checking my phone, and I'm really grateful to not have that stress in my life anymore.
Yeah. I think it'll be nice. I think it'll make home feel more like an escape for me.
You've always been really good at keeping our house free of reselling. It has 2 spots. You have the garage and you have this room here, but it's not in our living room. It's not in our kitchen. There's not inventory just around the house. It's always in those 2 spots. And you're like dogmatic about that, making sure the rest of the space is a home and not for reselling.
Well, because I grew up on YouTube, on reseller YouTube, and you see both. You see the people that are doing it right, and you see the people where it is
the way you're doing it.
Well, at least right according to me. Maybe there's not necessarily a right, but there's so many people that just let it spill into their life, and then it's just like, where does it end? And then it's on your kitchen table, and it's in your living room, and it's on your beds, and it's like, because it's so easy to get behind on buying with reselling, because I think that a lot of people are insecure about their ability to buy inventory, and so they tend to overbuy, and they're not insecure enough about how hard it is to just sit down and list it all, and or maybe they don't want to acknowledge it because it is more fun to buy.
Yeah,
but
I think
because
that's what
it's not.
Is the buying is enjoyable and exciting. It's like a treasure hunt. And then the listing is like, that's the drudgery. That's the part that's a job. Like that's the part that is a job. But, buying without listing is like a bad spending habit. Like you have to have both of them. And the listing is like the important part, because anyone can buy. That's just a shopping thing.
And the longer you sit on something, the more risk there is inherently, right?
Like something can happen to your
you
inventory.
become more like an investor in the long-term value of all those items, which may go up or down. A lot of us are dealing in just like stuff that is not necessary to live and could very well be affected by the market in various ways. And so I'm just a fan of like, I'm buying it based on the market value that I can look up now. So I need to sell it as close to now as possible to make sure that my risk assessment is valid, right? Like if I'm selling it in 3 years, who knows what it's going to be?
Yeah,
there's no guarantee video games are going up or Legos. Like you can read all the articles you want about how it mirrors the stock market and stuff, but I don't know. I still think it's probably a lot more risky inherently.
I'd rather just list it and then put my income in the stock market.
Yeah, because I think the numbers over a long period of time probably bear that out. That's like the least risky thing to do, right?
Not the least risky, but if you're trying to grow your money, that's pretty unrisky.
Okay, yeah.
Like the least risky would be to stick it in your like savings account.
Just a high yield savings account,
or just a not savings account,
Yeah.
a not high yield savings account, like a regular
With a
savings account that
very
does like
reputable-
0.001% interest. But there are ways to have your money make money. We do that for sure. Like we get eBay payouts every day because that is our money. We would like to take that money, and then I siphon off any excess money from our checking account and put it into our business high yield savings account. Because we are an S-corp, an LLC that files as an S-corp, our savings account has to be in our business name, so that we have a business name savings account. And then so that's earning interest every day. And then I take, at the end of the month, all of our bills. I always, just for like ease of life, everything is on autopay and everything is due on the 28th of the month. So that is something you can set up if you have bills and you have credit cards or whatever.
You can just change the bill
due
date
date,
on almost any of that stuff.
Yes.
Most people just leave it to whatever it is.
Whatever
just,
it defaults
just
to,
1 month from whenever you initially
Whenever you
signed
signed up.
up, and it just becomes that forever, right?
Yeah, but you can change it. And I find really helpful to change it because then I can just pull the money out I'm just like funneling it into our high yield savings account all month from like, the second of the month, or really probably from the 7th of the month on. I put it into high yield savings account, and then on the 26th of the month, I pull it out. And so I'm getting interest on the money from like the 7th to the 26th. And that's money that's already spent. Like that's money that's going to go pay our credit cards. But I'm putting it in a high yield savings account, making like $50 on it, $100 on it. And then I'm pulling it out as well. So I'm just making an extra $50 to $100 a month for nothing, because that's money that we've already spent.
That's how much you're making on the spread of just like putting that money in a high yield savings account for a couple of weeks.
And it's going to be different depending on how much money you have to put into. Yes, that is how much money.
Wow.
So that's why I do it. And it's so stupid. Joe's like, it's dumb, right? Like it's but it doesn't take very long.
I just have too much anxiety about missing due dates because my brain is not good at remembering that kind of stuff at the right time.
Yeah.
So I just want to have an abundance of money in my business checking account, like 2 or 3 months worth, just in case I forgot to check, like at all times, which would be less optimal. But I think for me, more of like a healthy emotional move. But you're like really playing the cards.
No, I'm keeping they want us to keep $2,000 in our checking account. And that's exactly what I'm keeping. And then I'm putting all the rest of it basically back into our high yield savings account. But that's okay.
And that's very low to me in a savings account or in a checking account that has such big swings of needing to pay things off.
Like any one of our credit cards would be higher than that.
Yeah.
But right,
since
for the
you
credit
set
cards,
everything to be paid off
due on the same
28th,
date.
Nothing's coming out of our checking account right? Because we're not spending debit cards.
So that's exactly, okay, so right. Yeah. So there's 3 things that come out of our checking account every month. All of our business credit cards come out are on the 28th, and I've done every single one of those to be auto paid on the 28th for statement balance. So that's you don't want to do minimum payment because then you'll get interest, and all these like credit card points are useless if you're paying interest on these credit cards, right? So you treat your credit card like a debit card, but you have them set to the 28th, so that comes out. And then on like the 2nd of every month, we have our payroll come out. So because we are an S-corp, we are required to pay ourselves a reasonable salary via payroll. So that comes out on the 2nd or so. And then we also take an owner draw every month as well. And that is how we are paid essentially. So the owner draw and the payroll.
And the owner draw is just like a ceiling headroom to give us the ability to pay ourselves more or less depending on what we want to do. Before we thought we wanted to maybe move, so we were trying to pay ourselves more, pay the business less so we could maybe make a down payment. And right now we're trying to pay the business more, pay ourselves less. So we're going to do less owner draws.
We talked to our accountant about
can buy the shed, right?
The shed in the backyard and all of the work that goes with that shed. It's not cheap. It is going to be like 50 or 60 grand. And I talked to our accountant, explained everything that we're doing. It is going to be used specifically for Joe's business. He said, then you should definitely be using the business credit cards for that. You should definitely be paying for it out of your business account. So we are taking his advice and doing that. But that means I've been keeping I want to keep, I don't know, $20,000 in our business high yield savings account. And then we pay ourselves an owner draw to match that or to make sure that we don't overdraft that with that safety net in there. But now we might need a little bit extra because of all the extra expenses. So it'll be fine. It's pretty easy to do. All these things are due kind of over time. So where was I?
3 things come out of a checking account.
Oh yeah, that's it. Just payroll, owner draw, and credit cards. All three are around the same time. The 28th is the credit cards. The 2nd or 3rd, depending on what day of the week it is the payroll. And then the 7th is usually when we actually get paid. And then we send, the business account pays for your health savings account. They put a contribution in there for that every month up to the maximum, which is like $8,000 a month. And a health savings account is pretty sick. It is a triple tax advantaged, it's not a retirement account, it's a health savings account, but you can use it for retirement. So what we do is we put the maximum in every year. And so you're not taxed, the business is not taxed on those earnings. So that's one. And then we are not taxed on that income. So that's 2. And then when it grows over time, this is an investable account. It's with Fidelity. Fidelity has a really simple health savings account for sole proprietors and business owners. So it's not once it grows, because it's in the stock market, we won't be taxed on any of the growth. And that is the only account that is taxed that is not taxed rather in that way. Which is why you can only put so much in there. I think it's $8,300 per year is the family limit. So we max that one out every year, and we max our Roth IRAs out every year. And that is all done with our eBay income.
So Roth IRA and then that health savings account are both just accounts that we have that have various tax benefits, and they have a cap because they have so many benefits that you could just game the system and put all your money into it. So that kind of tells us, it must be good.
Yeah, that's enough.
And it's also kind of a fun goal of let's at least try to max out those.
Right. So that between the 3 of them, so mine gets maxed out, yours gets maxed out, and then the health savings account gets maxed out. That's like $23,000 a year invested. And that is just about enough for us. That makes it so we can still make sure we have a good, healthy emergency fund. And sometimes we put a little extra in just a brokerage account, but that's about all we want to spare at this point in our lives, and still go on vacations and do other fun things. And because we're working on, we're on track essentially to retire in about 10 years if we want to. If we don't want to, we can just keep going, but we'll have enough money to retire in about 10 years when we're about 50-ish. So that is the goal. And so that's why we keep funneling money into it. So we can be work optional. And then our kids will be just about grown up by then, or late teens. And that's pretty cool. We can take some cool vacations with them and do whatever we want to do when we're retired. But that's kind of how we're trying to make that happen. So we put and then on our personal side, we also have a high yield savings account. And I do the same thing with that. So we get paid on the 7th, and all of our bills come out on the personal side on the 28th as well. So from the 7th to the 28th, I shove all that money, except for $200, into our high yield savings account. You love that one too. Nice, run it tight. But again, we don't use our debit card for anything. So there's never any money coming out of our checking account. So I funnel that all into our high yield savings account. And then that one is with Wealthfront. And it's pretty great because it does same day withdrawal. So I can leave it in there until the 28th, get those extra couple days. The other one is with Live Oak Bank, and that takes a few days to process. But this one's instant. So I can pull it out that day. Sometimes I forget and I pull it out immediately. I have forgotten, and it'll be your account is overdraft $5,000 or something. Whoops, my bad. And then I just pull it all out and it's all good. As long as it's on by the business day, it's fine.
I'm just so bad at that stuff, and I just can't handle the anxiety of it. But you're so good at playing that game. It's fun.
Yeah, I try. Sometimes I make mistakes, as we just discussed, but
that's of course, you make mistakes every time you got your hand in the business or optimizing, and you also make a lot of money doing it.
Yeah. And we don't treat it like found money. I just treat it like regular money. So I saw someone who they get a massage every month with the interest from their high yield savings account. They just treat it like this is extra money. This doesn't count. I'm going to go buy myself a massage every month with the interest.
I think that's great.
If you need motivation to do it, then maybe treat yourself. Maybe it's only $5 a month that you're getting, and you can just buy yourself a special coffee that month. But if that's motivating to you, then whatever helps is what works. Whatever's getting you there, whatever's making you do it. It's like we're working out. Once you find the workout that you like, whether it's lifting weights, bungee fitness, running, whatever it is, for me, it's aerial stuff, right? So up in the air, silks and lyra and stuff. And it's weird, right? It's a weird workout, but I like it. And it feels like I'm not working out, and I don't want to work out, but I want to have a functional body that lasts a long time. So I do it, and the kids do it with me, and it's so great, but it is weird. It is weird. But whatever works, works. Whatever motivates you to go, whatever motivates you to save, do it.
Yeah, kind of just, because from a different lens, that could almost sound like girl math or something, right? Of like, oh, well, it's the extra interest, so it's free. And it's like, well, money's money.
Yeah.
But it's like, instead of ignoring the fact that we are somewhat irrational creatures, if you can just hack your brain and like loop that reward into like, well, I'm going to reward myself with this, and it is going to keep me putting my money into my savings account because I look forward to that massage so much.
Yeah,
and if I didn't do it,
habit,
I would be more irrational and might not put money in my savings account at all.
Yeah.
Right? Like instead of just assuming you're going to be a perfect actor, just kind of like making sure that whatever you're reinforcing it is like a positive.
Yeah. If it's a healthy habit, then that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
We have a similar thing with the kids. So our kids get an allowance, and their allowance is not tied to productivity in any way. They don't have to do chores to get this allowance, right? I read a book, The Opposite of Spoiled, a while ago, and it really I liked what it said about this part. So so the kids get $5 a month for their allowance, the base allowance. If it was tied to chores, you have to do all your chores this month to get that $5. They could easily say, especially our oldest, who is like not super money motivated, but he could easily say, I don't want to do chores this month. I'm opting out of all chores. Keep your $5, right? And if that's okay, then I guess it's tied to chores. But in our case, it's not okay. We all participate in chores because we are a member of this family. Yeah. They're the ones who are putting toys all around the house, not me. And it's up to them to clean those up, especially as they're getting older, right? So they're 4, 8, and 9. They have the capacity to clean up their own toys, clean up their own room. They do the dishes every day. They have like a rotating chore. So they unload the laundry and put that away. They do the dishes, or they sweep and vacuum the house. And those are the 3 chores that they do every day. They rotate. There's 3 kids, 3 chores. The little one gets a lot of help from me. I never said a little help, but realistically, I do 97% of his chores. And he like puts the socks away or something. Or he puts, do you know what he loves putting away is Joe's colorful towels. That's what he'll do for laundry day. Silverware for dishes day, and he'll vacuum the stairs for that day. But we're working on these systems so that it's not harder. I didn't do a ton of chores growing up. I don't think it made me a better person now. I mean, I loved it at the time. I was like, I don't have to do anything. But I think it's really hard to motivate myself, even still as a 40-year-old, to get everything done. So we're trying to help build those processes into their days. And especially since we're homeschooled, there's a lot of time that we're all here. And Joe works from home. They're homeschooled. We are here all day, every day. This house is used. So we all need to be working together to clean it up. So no one's paid for that. But what I love, and I think I came up with this when I was playing a video game on my phone called Balatro, which is kind of like solitaire, but weird.
It's such a good game.
Such a good game, right? But there's a savings mechanism in it. And it's basically for every $5 you have saved at the end of the round, you get an extra $1 in interest. And I took that exact formula and did it for the kids. So however much money is in their, like they have a little safe piggy bank thing. However much money is in there at the end of the month when it's allowance day, they get paid on the first of the month, I will give them interest essentially. So if they have $15 in their piggy bank at the end of on payday, I give them an extra $3. So their allowance is now $8 instead of $5. Lucy, our second, is a great saver. So she's got like $35 in there. So every month she's making like $12. And
we're going to be paying her hundreds pretty soon.
I feel like I need to cap it at like $20 extra, but like I kind of want to see how far they can take it. Yeah. Sam has such a love for like upgrades in his Dragon Ball video games. So he has not saved up more than like $20 ever because he is so excited to like get these cool little like skins.
Stuff. Yeah.
And every month we go over it and how much money do you have in there. They count it out and then they do the math on how much money they should be getting for their allowance. And then we talk about have any purchases they've made over the course of the last month. Now looking back, maybe it was a few days ago, maybe it was, 3 weeks ago. Do you still think that was a good purchase? Or are you like, that was kind of a waste of money? Because that's part of it. And like, we're trying to build that mindfulness. So the reason why they get allowance is not tied to their chores. It is just as a tool for money management. And so that they can start practicing those decision-making skills of like, what is worth it, what isn't worth it. And I try not to micromanage how they spend their allowance, but still, sometimes it's so dumb that we're like, can we wait 24 hours before we actually make this purchase? Because boy, is that like cosmetic upgrades in a video game are just so triggering for me because they're so stupid. But like
I kind of feel like allowance money is meant to be capped and to give them the chance to make some bad decisions.
It so is. It's exactly what it's for. But it's so
like we can buy them the practical stuff. Let them see what they actually like.
Right. And we do, but it's just, it's a good tool for them to learn that money management and to maybe even learn that like remorse of like, I did spend all my money. Now I'm only getting $5 this month. And that's going to take a long time. They're seeing how much different their allowances are right now because Sam's getting like $6 and Lucy's getting like 13. Yeah. And she's growing it faster because she's not spending $13 a month. So she's able to grow it every month. Whereas he's like, anyway, they're working on it. Yeah. And I just give Hunter a couple dollars and he seems so super happy about that. So I'm not sure. He doesn't really care yet.
That is fine for him.
Yeah, it's fun. I like that though. I really like that resonates with me and it feels like a good opportunity to learn about compound interest, a good opportunity to learn about savings and, you can have anything, but you can't have everything mentality. Go ahead.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminded me, there was a book I read one time that had an example about a daycare that was having an issue with parents showing up late. Mm-hmm. And so they decided, do you remember what book that was?
Was that like Freakonomics or something?
It may have been. Yeah, that does seem like the kind of counterintuitive behavior.
But
so the daycare instituted like a $10 penalty for showing up late for these parents if they showed up late to pick up their kids. And even more parents showed up late because it was
like $5 because it wasn't enough.
No, I think it was just the fact that now they were able to make the decision of, was this worth it or not? I'm stuck in this meeting, but I'll pay the $10 or whatever it was.
Or like I can just leave my kid there for an extra 2 hours for $5. That's a great deal.
Yeah, whereas before it was an ambiguous punishment, right? Or cost of like, am I going to get kicked out? Or are they going to look down on me? But since it was very clear, they were able to make it really clear. And it reminded me of the chores of just not giving them the chance to say,
I don't want to
I'm not going to do chores in exchange for that money. Because that's really not what the exchange is, right? Like you have to help out with family chores no matter what.
Yeah, I think so. And they do have the opportunity to earn extra money if they do work in the actual business. If they do work that generates income, then that is equitable, that they can earn money on that. So like every once in a while, they don't as much anymore. They did for a while, but they're not as motivated right now by it. But Lucy or Sam, they would like clean Wii steering wheels for like a 25 cents each or something, or some menial job like that, wrap cables.
Yeah, they're very privileged kids. I don't think they're like yearning for anything that's that much right now.
No.
Like they like really want to pay, And
I say no to them all the time. Like we had an issue at IKEA the other day because Hunter really wanted a juice box and it was $4. And I was like, absolutely not. Hard line, I'm not going to spend $4 on an 8-ounce juice.
Smoothie.
It was literally orange juice. Literally. And no, we're not doing that. And because I say, like, whenever the ice cream truck comes, they don't ask me because they know I'm going to say no. They don't even ask me. And that makes my life so much better because I don't have to deal with the like, maybe, yes. And it makes their life easier too because they already know it's a no. They're not going to ask me if it's a yes today because they know it's a no. We say no all the time, but they do have their needs met. And we have like essentially no budget when it comes to like curriculum, right? Or like things for school, then things that will help with our day-to-day life with schooling or like enrichment opportunities. We do have a bit of a budget, but like not, you know what I mean? That like,
what do you mean?
Whenever I've ever said, hey, Joe, I want to buy Beast Academy for the kids. It's $100 for the first kid, 60 for the next kid. It's for a whole year. And you're like, that's most of their math for the year. And it's $160. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, obviously you should just do that. Because like the amount of time it would take me to prep a lesson, to do a lesson, to get it all done to the caliber that they're doing it is probably more than $160 in value, right?
Yeah.
So
and I do, that is one of my money rules too, is just like buy books, like buy the book. I think knowledge is the one thing you take with you, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And with the homeschooling, we do homeschool all year round. So they're still homeschooling in the middle of the summer. And they will be homeschooling all summer, but we take breaks when we're on like vacation or whenever it makes sense. Usually vacations, like we just don't bring work with us. but they do homeschool 7 days a week for the rest of the year. So that makes it a little easier. And we don't do it for like 8 hours a day. That'd be too much. A lot of public school is a little wrangling, like making sure everyone's in the same place, on the same page. And since there's only a few of them, I can kind of multitask that part and get it all done. And then they go to a co-op. They do a bunch of things. They go to a co-op once a week where for 4 hours on Mondays, they have lessons and classes. And most of them are like extracurricular type classes, but they are enriched in that way. And then they get all that social time with the same people over and over. And then on Wednesdays, they do an outdoor school where there's often a lesson based on something outdoorsy, whether it's like, I don't know, I think at one point we were talking about watersheds, and it was like we were looking at drainage things in this park, and whatever it is, there's something fun. And then on Thursdays we go for a hike with a hiking crew every week. Yeah. So they get a lot of good quality time with other kids, and the same kids often show up to these things over and over and over. And then they take aerial sling classes on Saturday. Because
I don't know. It's hard to know what to teach kids these days.
But that's the question with homeschool too, is like, what do they even do? How do they make friends?
Friends, that's a big part. The social side is a big part of it, is the enrichment. And then just, I think, the ability to learn, the ability to have a healthy relationship with electronics, like the ability to spend time with friends and have open-ended play. I think it's so important. There's a lot of components to it. Kind of like, and you really are in a lot more of a manual position as a homeschool parent. Like, you have to put together the pieces of an entire day and then an entire week. And yeah, it's fun. It's fun to kind of paint your own picture, but it does take a lot more effort. Yeah,
and we were talking about it in mixing that with reselling, and how like parenting is a lot like reselling in that like you cannot control the output. You actually cannot control what your kids are like, right? You can only control what you're putting into it, and the attention or the love or the philosophies you're putting into their brains. You can control that, just like with reselling. You can't make people buy your stuff. You can control what you're doing. You can control what your pictures look like. You can control what you're pricing it at, what you're listing, what you're sourcing, but you're not in charge of you're not responsible for the output. And that's why I think you kind of get too hard on yourself in some ways, where you say like, some people blame the algorithm or the economy or whatever. You do the opposite, and you blame yourself only.
Yeah.
Because you're hard on yourself, and you understand that a lot of what you can control is yourself. And the only thing you can control is yourself. So you put it on yourself of like, if I'm not getting sales, it's because of me. It's because I'm not listing right now, or I'm not listing quality items right now, or whatever it is. And it's probably a little bit of both, right? But you can't control the outcome. You can make good predictions.
Yeah, I would say it's more your responsibility with business than parenting, even though.
To control what?
Like, a business really is, or if it's your business, it's a reflection of your choices. And your kid is a reflection of your choices combined with a random combination of genetics and their environment and all of their other interactions, right?
Right.
And while there are random elements of both, I just feel like inherently it's a lot more out of your control with kids.
Parenting is out of your control?
Yeah, whereas if you see something wrong about or not wrong, but see something you don't like with the business, I don't know, it's different.
There are definitely moments
it's like a completely different attitude about
parenting where you're like, what? Why did they make that choice? Why are they, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Like when one of them does like finger guns, and you're like, what do you mean? How do you even know about that? Like, what is even going on? What is this? But they're just pervasive, I guess. And kids just know stuff.
Just bits of culture leaking in that you didn't notice.
And we're not trying to shelter them or anything, but we are, I guess we are in some ways. Like, our oldest is a little like horror curious, interested, and like has started reading some manga. And it is hard to know, because it's not graded in the same way that movies are, TV is, what is going to be 9-year-old friendly for comic books.
You can Google it, though.
You can Google it.
Thank goodness for Google.
Yeah.
I just Google the name of the whatever series and appropriate, and I'll just start going from there. I get asked a lot. Can I read this? Can I download this? But I'd rather be asked than not.
Yeah. And it's hard to know what type of inappropriate would it be, and is that valuable or not?
Yeah.
Do we care or not about that particular type of inappropriate?
Yeah, different levels of disturbing and whatever.
Like, we didn't want him to read the original Dragon Ball because it was like, it's a little pervy, but Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball, what's the other one? X? Dragon Ball Super? Yeah, Super. are less like that. He kind of
The
just
heart's
didn't
put
do
on the
that
right
anymore.
place. It's more about heroes versus bad guys, but it does have more like graphic violence. But I don't
But
know.
in comic book form, it's not as overwhelming as if it were like the show. He hasn't watched the show.
Yeah, we're definitely falling right in line with like typical Christian American culture of like you're allowed to watch violence, but you can't see anything sexual until you're an adult. But you can see graphic violence. I feel like that's a very American thing. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like in other cultures, like I don't know. Do you know? Do you not? I don't know. Maybe not. The heart was in the wrong place with Dragon Ball for sure.
It was like pervy. It
Yeah.
wasn't like happy relationships. It was like her like showing her butt to Goku as a kid to get him to do something for her. That's complicated. That's a complicated thing for a 9-year-old to understand.
That is complicated.
Especially because he reads so much. He reads so fast and he reads at such a good level. So he can read these things, but like that's a complicated situation of transactional sexuality that like is a whole conversation that he isn't even, it's not even on his radar yet.
But blood vengeance is also quite complicated.
But I think he gets that more.
Maybe.
That makes more sense.
Maybe he just gets it more. Maybe. Like he's more able to understand the lessons there. Or whatever they're having to be.
He's not as socially adept, maybe, but he gets the idea of like whatever it is.
Yeah, man. Parenting's so tricky. There's so many gray areas.
There's no perfect
I
path.
don't know, man.
But just doing it. We're just doing the things, you know?
Yeah.
Just working on the like delayed gratification. Same with like reselling. Same with parenting, right? Like most of it comes down to delaying that gratification as a kid, trying to teach them that. And same with like when you're reselling, like you're buying things that you're listing in a few weeks, or maybe you're listing right away, but they sell in a week or two. And like with your tape, you started this conversation months and months and months ago, and eventually they were able to get the samples and then the unsampled, and then you sent it back, and then, okay, great. And then redo it this way. And then they send it across the ocean, and then it takes a while. The whole thing takes a while, right? So there's the delayed gratification. This stupid exercise equipment that just came in the mail today, we bought like 4 months ago, but it was on back order and we'd forgotten all about it until it like showed up at the door.
Yeah, I'm stoked about it. The Nordbench Pro, this is great.
Yeah, I was asking Joe how my lower back has been like kind of like weak since I had kids, the last kid especially. And even though I do all this like Lyra stuff, it hasn't like fixed it. So I was like, I want to be able to do like that thing in the gym where you have your knees pinned and then you can do like inverted, what is it like?
Just back hyperextensions is the basic one. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Which
but
I
you
think if I
can't,
extend
it's
this
really
up,
hard to
it'll
do
be better.
that otherwise. Like you can't even just like hold my legs and I do it.
No, it's a weird position. You need a big old chunk of equipment.
Yeah.
This one has a couple other attachments. It's got a dip bar. This is supposed to be for dips. Some other stuff, but it's mostly just for that.
Yeah. But it's that delayed gratification also, because you also have to start working on it, and then eventually it'll maybe catch up. Yeah. Same with any exercise. Eventually, maybe you'll get some muscles, or your body will look a little different, or you'll feel different, and you'll be able to do the things that you wanted to do before.
But, yeah, and looking back, it's so easy to trivialize, like, oh, you worked hard at something for a few months, but like actually putting in the effort into something for a few months, you see tremendous results as you actually committed yourself to a fitness routine or whatever it is. I think any of us, or for a business change, right? But really doing it in the moment is so much harder to do something knowing you're not going to see the reward for months out, or you may or may not see the reward because there's a certain amount of uncertainty with all this stuff, whether it is a fitness journey or a business venture, whatever it is.
Yeah, there was a moment with the tape where you're like, when it arrived, you're like, there was like that feeling that was like, I hope this isn't just a big old scam. Like
100% the whole time. I was like, that's a lot of business. I remember a lot of times you make your first big order with a new manufacturer or something. You're like, oh, I don't know. Or even in our business with eBay, you're like, am I getting scammed? Like you're asking yourself that the whole time until you've gone through the entire order and you're like, okay, I don't think I got scammed. It wasn't just like fluffed up with empty boxes on the bottom to make it look higher than it. I mean, we never had anything like that before, I think.
Or like with buyers sometimes. Like we had a return request the other day and it was not the same. We sold them a DS, it was listed, it's broken. The hinge was broken. And the one in the picture from the return request was a fully intact hinge. And I was like, scam or maybe not super smart. And it was the second one.
That one they were just mistaken, right?
They were totally mistaken. They had just bought a whole bunch of them and they were like, they returned the wrong one because the one that they bought didn't power on, but the hinge was good. The one that they bought from us hadn't even arrived yet. When I looked all the way into it, it had like, I shipped it like 2 days before and it was due to arrive in 4 days. And it was like, wait a minute, is this guy trying to scam us? And no, he just was totally wrong. And he apologized and closed the return immediately. But at first I was like, this is why I don't like jump at like scammer. Because sometimes people are just, they make mistakes. And that has happened enough times that I like, when I'm doing customer service emails, I like start with like, do you have me mixed up with a different seller because that's not my item, or whatever it is. Or like today we had a return request. It just came back today. They were using, it was a Super Nintendo, the little minis, and they said it wasn't working. And then they just sent an email today saying, okay, I'm just going to be fully honest. I bought another one. It also wasn't working. And then I realized my HDMI like switcher was the problem. And it works fine when I plugged it in. But they'd already done the whole return and sent it back. So we still have to refund them. But
I didn't. But I was able to report a problem with that.
Yeah,
and it's not going to do anything. It's still going to count as a return.
Right. Because the issue is that if you get too many like significantly not as described or INAD returns, then you can end up with a penalty, even if the returns aren't valid. That happened to us once.
At least.
Twice.
It's one of those
One was
deep
with
eBay
cell
things.
phones that didn't matter because we don't sell that many of those anymore anyway. The other one was with like our video game stuff. And they tack on an extra 5% if you have a very high not as described rating. And it's for a whole month. And I was going back and forth with eBay being like, one of them was like, you sell all of your Guitar Hero guitars as untested, fully untested, sold as is, for like pretty cheap. And this person had bought them for super freaking cheap. It was like listed for $20. They bought them all for like, because they bought so many of them that you gave them a great deal. You gave them like $7 each or something. And then they returned a ton of them for not working because they wanted them all to be working. They read untested as, but they were listed in the parts repair category, but they read untested and said, I'm just going to hope for the best. And then they returned enough of them that it pushed us up. It cost us a couple $1,000s overall because we were in that 5% surcharge for a month. Because not just because of this one person, but that was what tipped us over the edge because it didn't take that many.
Because it's 5% of your total sale amount.
Yeah.
Because they'll talk about like a top rated seller status and you get a 10% discount. That's 10% off of your fees,
right?
Which ends up being like 1%. But this is a 5% increase overall.
Yeah. It was pretty gnarly.
5% of your total top end number.
And they never refunded
It's a lot of money. And it's one of those deep eBay things where you can still maintain top rated seller plus status, but if you have an excessive amount of returns in a certain category, you get a fee in that category, but all we sell is in the video games category.
Yeah, so it was almost everything we sold that month got that fee. Super lame. No, I tried to get rid of it for so long. I tried so long to get eBay to like, they were not, it's hard to talk to a person. It's hard to talk to a person that understands what you're doing. And even when they do understand where you're coming from, they're like, yeah, they probably shouldn't count. Yeah. They weren't able to reverse the fees because it was like a fee on every single item. Yeah. So that was an annoying thing. But that happened like a year and a half ago. Yeah. I'm not so salty about it.
I think we've just learned you just can't put your energy into that too much because there's not that much they can do. Even when you finally get somebody on your side and they promise they're going to call you back.
I know.
I have been promised I will be called back by eBay representatives, like sworn to. Never, not once has anyone ever followed up with me from eBay customer service.
Yeah.
Like I'm working on this. I'm going to get back to you by Monday. We'll have something and I'll get back to you no matter what. Nothing.
Yeah, that was kind of how this went too. We eventually got a guy who was helping us and he was like, yep, this is all totally invalid. I see what you're saying. I'll make sure those are taken off. And so he ended up taking them off, but the fees were not reversed. At this point, it had been like over a month. So it's fine.
That's fine.
Is it?
Because it's not perfect customer service, but it's better. No. I mean, talk to an Amazon seller, Facebook Marketplace seller, Mercari seller. Like,
right.
I love to comment on John and Pete. They got the new podcast, the Hunt and Flip Show. And they were talking about seller trust versus buyer trust. And buyers trust a lot of these platforms, but a lot of sellers do not trust the platforms that they work for. I think Whatnot, they do, but I only think that's because they're in that early growth phase and they're just trying to get a bunch of sellers. They're like
I think
focused on
Whatnot
growing
recently
that
just
end.
changed a policy where they were covering overages. Like when USPS would come back and say,
Yeah.
you actually owe us more postage, Whatnot was covering those for the first however long they've been in business. And they just were like, we can't keep covering these.
And I'm seeing that even shifting now, where I'm hearing sellers say, I'm not getting the same kickbacks that I got for referrals. In the beginning, they were giving crazy amounts for YouTubers for referral bonuses and stuff like that. And that has gone away. And so I think they are kind of shifting, like a lot of all the other platforms, to more even, or at the end of the day, maybe more catering towards the seller for whatever reason. I mean, toward the buyer is what it seems like. Maybe that's just how it feels.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's different when your whole livelihood depends on it versus just like an order or two.
Our whole livelihood depends on it.
Right. That's
But
what I mean.
eBay
That's
generally
why
works out.
you tend to hold them to a much higher standard, even though to them, we're just another seller. We're just like to customers, like we're just another buyer, but we're not actually big to eBay.
No. A $400,000 a year store is probably very small to eBay.
Like I don't think
they don't care that much.
I heard from customer service or from somebody on a podcast once that used to work for eBay that eBay pretty much instantly loses any profit on most items as soon as you call customer service as a seller. That's why they just never want you to call, because then eBay now has to pay
Or a person
customer
to talk
service. And like there's just that's kind of interesting. You wonder why they keep pushing us towards AI and like the chat bots and stuff.
to. I know. I hate that though. I do. Joe doesn't complain about anything, but I do find it really annoying when you try to get feedback removed that's like totally valid for removal, and the AI says it's not, and you're like, you didn't read it, did you?
But in the feedback wars, last year is when eBay instituted that automated feedback, where you just automatically get a flood of positive feedback for all those
when
orders.
When anyone doesn't rate anything.
So that just, I think that really balances out. Unfortunately, like a lot of the not fair negative ones still remain on your account, but it's
Joe does not care about negative feedback at all.
No, I mean, because I've seen eBay sellers with like 96% positive feedback that are doing fine.
Yeah.
Like people still buy from them. Like that's still an A. I think as a seller, you get so caught up on like, oh, it's 99 point whatever now, and it's gone down another point, and like I don't think the buyer cares at all.
Sometimes people look at, like, if you look at our negatives, for example, I think there's like 36 this year, which sounds like a lot, right? That's a lot of negative feedback. But you've also sold 12,000 items, right? So like 36 out of 12,000. And like sometimes it's valid, and sometimes they said they were going to remove it, and then we had like a whole conversation, and then they just forgot to do it, and eBay times those requests out after a few days. So that's just stuck there forever. And then other times you cannot control people's feelings. Sometimes they're just disappointed with something that they bought, and that is okay. Can't control that. I cannot control how people interact. And sometimes we have switched our jobs where like you're doing more of the customer service, because I am really bad at boundaries. And so when I was doing all of the customer service emails, I would be like, I'd like write them a message, and then I'd like check back again after a few minutes, check back again after like 7 minutes and 10 minutes. You like maybe we'll get back to them. And then maybe once a day.
Yeah, I can't do customer service more than once or twice a day, or else I can't be ruminating on that. I got to be ruminating on the business. Like that's not where the money's made. I can give you a couple messages a day, but this is not urgent stuff. If somebody needs help with their Wii or whatever it is, like they can wait a couple of hours. Like honestly,
so sometimes our negatives are just like, I messaged them and they never got back to me.
And that I do feel bad about. I hate to leave people completely hanging. I usually try to get back to everybody at least.
But we're just people
somehow, but it's hard when the flood of messages.
Yeah, and sometimes it just gets buried in like, now it's under like 35 offer requests or something, and then you just never.
Yeah, it gets all mixed in with the notifications. And,
that's okay. That's okay. Well, I don't know. Do we have anything else? It's been like, just segue immediately.
Just
to
a nice
what are we
5-minute video that we made.
We're at 54 minutes already.
Anything else about reselling and parenting that makes you?
We talked a lot about money today. If there's any questions about money, I think that as resellers and as business owners, there are a few ways you can make more money and make your money make money. And I'm trying to optimize for that, right? So like there's only so much reselling we can do for the rest of our lives. But at some point I would like to have the time to not have to resell if we don't want to. And our retirement is being funded by eBay at this point. And so I'm trying to make this more approachable to people. So we talked about a little bit of high yield savings accounts where your personal money should be in one. And then because they're like 4% right now. And that's still pretty high. It's not as good as like the stock market, but this is not for stuff that's going to be used in the next stock market's for like a 5-year plus plan, whereas a savings account is something a little more short term where you're not going to lose the principal.
So what's it good for? It's not a checking account. It's more of emergency savings / just temporary holding, or what are you recommending?
Yeah, I put everything in my high yield savings account except for what I need in the next couple days. You could do that for everything.
But it could be the next couple blank. Yeah, whatever.
Or next couple weeks, whatever makes you feel more comfortable, right? And everything else gets siphoned off into the high yield savings account. We use Wealthfront, but there's a lot of other easy options. And then
how do you know when it's time to then take that money and go ahead and invest it and put it into our actual investments?
I don't know if this is like fully logical, but we end up dollar cost averaging essentially into our Roth IRA, into our high yield savings account, or our health savings account, or HSA. Dollar cost averaging meaning like every month I put about $1,000 into our Roth and $1,000 into our HSA. And then, yeah, for each of us. So the HSA is a family thing. So $8,300 per year. I think the Roth this year is $7,000 or $7,500. They go up every year.
Oh, look at me.
$7,500. I'm going to go with that number. We haven't hit the max yet because it's just the middle of the year. I try to do about $1,000 a month. It would probably be optimal if I could just put all of it into it right away at the beginning of the year. But that's just not how I like to just take it off of our paychecks every month and just put a whole bunch of it in there. And as long as we can pay our bills and keep those 3 accounts maxed out, I feel pretty good. When would I put it in our brokerage account? If I had more money beyond that, what is that, $23,000, $24,000 that I wanted to invest every year. But for now, I think that feels like enough to invest, and the rest can just start beefing up our emergency savings account. And we do have those. We're spending a lot of money on this big project with the sheds, but it will be fun to be back in our current bedroom is 9.5 by 10 feet. And it'll be fun to be back in the 12 by 15 foot bedroom right here.
We're in a tiny room. Heather has to walk sideways to get to her side of the bed.
Which is better than when it was just pushed against the wall and I had to like scoot down to the bottom of the bed to get out. So true. Really upgraded.
You're a keeper.
I am a keeper.
Yeah.
But yes, it would be nice to not walk sideways to get out of the bed. And that will be at some point coming this summer or fall. They said the permits process takes like 3 months and we're week 2 into it, or week 3. So
yeah, well,
a little bit of a wait.
It's not even been submitted yet. So
well, that was the whole thing takes like 3 months.
Yeah, got it.
I don't think that actually takes the city 3 months to look at your permit, but Tough Shed has to get engineering and structural designs or something to submit to the city, and that is what they're still currently waiting on. So eventually that'll happen. Our daughter is moving into her own room and she's so excited to move into her own room and not be with the boys anymore. They've been so happily sharing a room, the 3 of them, for years. They never wanted their own bedrooms until like 6 months ago. Our 8-year-old girl was like, I would love my own room. And she has so much stuff, so many activities and so many hobbies. She just took up crocheting yesterday, just on her own. She just like watched a few YouTube videos and now she's got a chain as long as her body and she's so stoked on it. And I love, this is like such a homeschool coded decision, but just like she just found a hobby and is so excited about it. And she has all the time in the world to start pursuing it. But they're great. It'll be a fun little journey, and yeah, we'll probably take you along for it. Joe's videos will be in the shed at some point. It's got...
Oh, I can't wait. It's going to have skylights. I'm unreasonably excited about the skylights.
Yeah,
Just
we tried to make it like the coolest possible shed so that it wouldn't look like, eventually if we live somewhere else and we are selling this house with this like 30 by 16 shed in the backyard, we don't want them to think, gross, there's a giant ass shed in my backyard and it's taking up half of the yard. We would like for them to think, holy mackerel, that looks so cool. I could live out there. So it's got like 6 skylights, 8 windows, a double clear door, like all the upgrades. Cause I was like, do it right. Just do it right. Yeah. Stop being frugal, Heather. Just do this. Cause I designed it and just like get it all right. Get it right.
Might be for my parents one day. Who knows? I'll move the business back in the garage and they can move out there after the kids move out.
After the kids move out, we'll have so much space.
Yeah.
No, they're great. They won't need it. They're awesome. They watch your videos too.
Oh, they're great. I'm so lucky.
Yeah.
Wow, this is great. Thank you.
Well,
Brought to you by
fun.
God Tier Tape. Check out my tape brand.
Yeah.
Buy some expensive tape if you want to. It's expensive.
The best marketer I've ever heard
Hey,
of.
it's not cheap.
This guy.
It's good. It's great. People are happy with it. It's worth it.
People are really happy with it. And I do love
say?
that. I do love that people are, if you've gotten the tape, we need to figure out how to make reviews on your website or something, because I think people are so good and people are loving the tape, but there's no real way to.
I need to sit down with Shopify and go on the marketplace. I need to find apps to enable reviews. I need to find an app to do free samples in the right way. Yeah, I got a lot to do.
Oh yeah, because you talked about that in another video, that the samples were getting a little gamified.
Yeah, and I realized the one that I had that I thought I'd solved the problems was not great, because I think it would have actually made shipping free if you just added a couple to your 6-pack, because it would have bumped up the weight. Because if it gets above a certain weight, it becomes free shipping. So I need to get a special plugin that allows you to post an item to Shopify that has specific requirements, like can't be combined with any other items. It can only have this.
Yeah.
And it's just not available by default, I think. It's fun. These are fun little problems to have. It's fun to kind of mess around with. And I'm just giving out little gifts all day. I'm just like I've sent out like 40 free sample rolls and maybe 20 starter kits to like friends and other YouTube creators. And I'm like adding stickers in there, and I'm just like tee-heeing the whole time. It just feels like I'm just sending gifts to everybody. So it's really fun. It's like my favorite part.
Did you show them your stickers yet?
No, I don't know if I've shown them on YouTube.
They're so cute.
Where are they?
Just put your face right in front.
Yeah, that'd make a really good thumbnail. Check these out. Bam, I'm including a couple of these upside down with each order.
That's cute.
God Tier Tape, and on the bottom it just shows the specs of the tape. It's really dorky.
No, it's cute. One. It's got.
I don't think anybody cares about the specs of the tape, but it does. I mean, it is unique about the tape.
Badass Athena.
Yeah.
And then it looks like a rocker vibes. That's what we're going for right now.
Heather helped me with that one. So stoked.
Yeah, tried to make it more epic, and the kids were like, "Why is this like?" What did they say? Why is this like rocker tape? And you're like, "Cause it's cool, like rock star."
I like that. Yeah.
Rockstar tape. Nope, just renamed it.
Rockstar tape. It's not a bad name, actually.
Okay, TM.
Yeah, I've thought about maybe starting multiple brands. I mean, the product's good. What if I just started multiple brands, like ghost restaurants, where I could just try out, see if different this brand names. Actually takes hold? But because
like our friends that we told the name, they were like, "What is it? What does that mean?"
Yeah, I've gotten that question a lot. Even today, somebody was talking to you like, "What's the inspiration for that name?"
Because not everyone plays video games. And it not only plays video games, but plays video games and is so nerdy that they've looked up the tier list for that video game.
Yeah, I can't handle multiple brands right now. One day, but like I can't even handle multiple eBay stores. What am I thinking? I can barely handle 2 businesses at once.
I know. Someone accused us of having a secret eBay store because my active listings, when they saw me scrolling on my phone, is bigger than the amount of items that are currently listed on my store. And that's true. Because a lot of the active listings are just zero quantity, so they're not visible. Said the only reason that would happen is if you have a secret eBay store and you're showing us your other one.
Yeah, I mean, people do have second stores and stores that
but
they hide.
But it was wild. I was like, that is the only reason? No, the reason why there's so much more active listings on ours versus what you guys can see is because you have it set to go to zero quantity instead of sell out. So we have 2,000 essentially of the 3,000 items in our store are at zero quantity, but it makes sense to keep it at zero quantity instead of have it just end the listing, because then we can sell similar off of our own listings instead of restarting it altogether. Or
just up the inventory and don't change anything.
Or up the inventory, whatever it is. Yeah, but that was funny. It was like, but
then they immediately made it funny and like accepted my answer. Yeah. They weren't, I gave them a reasonable explanation and they accepted it. Like, what else can you do? They came to it was great. Those are my best.
Totally.
Yeah, if you can immediately kind of like be funny about it. They were silly. They were like, "Well, I have another question for you. How do you know I'm not Batman?"
I don't get it. Is it just silly?
I think they're just being silly. I don't know. Okay. Maybe I missed the joke.
Maybe they are Batman.
No, they're great. They have a big YouTube channel. You have more subs than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For now.
For now, I don't know about that. 20,000, that'd be huge. I can get to 20,000.
We thought we'd get to 1,000.
I assume by the time I ever get to 100,000, that'll be so common that YouTube's not handing out play buttons for that anymore, and you'll have to get to like 1 million or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how frequently they give out your medals, but that's like the major YouTube cred. You gotta always display that in the background if you get your silver play button. That's some YouTuber nerd stuff.
Joe's a YouTuber nerd.
All right.
All right, cool.
Yep.
See you guys later.
Are we done? We're done.
We're done.
We're out of words.
I have to go.
Mission
We have to
complete.
go cook dinner.
All right.
I'm not going to cook
You're very
anything.
charitable
Lucy
with the
and
way-
Joe cooked dinner last night, so I'm on duty tonight.
Yeah, we had sushi night last night. It was epic.
They did.
Some epic sushi rolls. All right.
All right.
You guys are great.
Bye. See you in
Bye.
the
See you in the
comments or
comments.
whatever.